Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Out of the Fog, the Trauma Network, produced by myself here with KR Country Coaching. This morning we have the beautiful Mizzey Dee Wise, who is a Western Downs local and all things holistic healing. So alchemist, massage therapist, all the really, really beautiful things. Also, I have to say, before we continue, I am using this all the time.
Oh, that's good.
I absolutely love it. So this is one of Missy's products that she has, and it's a cleansing room spray. It's just amazing, Missy. So thank you. All right. So guys, just before we begin, obviously viewer discretion is advised. We do have a bit of a delay this morning as well, just because of the distance, because Missy is obviously in Miles, but we will just continue on. So for anyone that might be battling at the moment, we have Lifeline, which is 13 11 14, and Beyond Blue, which is 1300 324 636. And the men's line, which is 1300 789 978. Obviously, as I always say, if at any time you feel curious on what we discuss here, please stop watching. Just go and gather yourself. Do a bit of grounding. I'm sure we might even do today, Missy. And then seek some support, and then you can come back and continue watching, or just reach out to someone. I know that Missy's with you guys too. So yeah, Missy, introduce yourself to us.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me today. My name is Mizzey. I am from the Philippines, but I lived in China for about 8 years, and I am now living in Australia. And I just have been on this healing journey, just kind of going through a lot of downs when I was younger, and then just kind of learning how to manage and heal all those parts of me that sometimes I didn't even realize created scars or wounds. And I'm only really just now discovering the shadow side and really embracing all the hurdles, I suppose, that I've been through this whole time.
Yeah. It's amazing. So when did you actually heal your journey, and what kind of brought you into that, I suppose, paradigm?
So I was born and raised Catholic. So that was kind of my box, that I grew up in. And then I moved to, and even then I had a lot of questions, but it was just like, don't question anything, go to church on Sunday, do your rosaries every day in October, that kind of thing. But when I moved to China, and I was an English teacher there for 8 years, that has been stripped off me. Believing in angels, Christmas, nothing was really significant anymore. You're not allowed to really believe in that stuff. But because they had temples, and because I was still thirsty for knowledge, and because all that was stripped away, it was really from the ground. I was super curious about, what is a mantra? The only rosary I know, or the only prayer beads I knew were rosary. What is the japa or mala beads? What are they praying? Why do these monks in temples creating these chants, and are they really the Antichrist, or is it against religion or anything? So I was really very open-minded and curious, and I found that I was finding a little bit of peace in those things. And then I just kind of explored further and further. I mean, I was into Wicca at one time, I was into Buddhism at one time, and even now, so the journey has taken me about 20 years already of really just searching, feeling lost, getting mad, asking for signs, feeling like I'm not getting the signs, and then hitting me in the face with a sign, and so it's been a massive journey, very exciting. But of course, at the beginning, it's like, now I just started going to the gym now. So going to the gym for me, yeah. So and I would never in a million years think I would be a gym person, but it is about trying new things, but also being committed to it. So to me, my friend invited me to go to the gym and I said, okay, I'm just going to give it a go. But it felt so good. So now I'm just like, I'm just going to go for the sake of me feeling so good, like dopamine hits, you know. But then I've noticed the side effects. Ooh, I feel more fit now. My clothes fit better, you know. So those side effects are happening because my mindset was, I'm just going to commit to this because it makes me feel good, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what I really liked about what you just said was the fact of, it sounds like you've always been someone who's very much been intuitively driven, you know, and so you kind of followed on and then you know what feels good. Yeah. So I really I also like the fact that you brought in the emotional expression of even when you're feeling mad. Because so often we build these types of beliefs or profiles of people who are in the holistic faith, whether it be Buddhism, Tibetan, whether it be Christian, whatever it may be. And it's kind of like, so long as you're practicing pain, every other emotion, you don't experience it.
Yeah.
You know, and that is just true because we still go through the waves of life.
Yes.
So I suppose, given our topic today, what I wanted to ask you was, when was the first time that you felt sadness?
So when I was very young, this is just a memory that stood out for me. So when I was I was struggling with, I don't know, there's just some energy that I'm feeling and it's very confusing for me. So I've always felt really heavy in my body, but I don't understand why. I'm always like in a really crappy mood, you know. And I remember, and there was a commercial in the Philippines about child stress or whatever. And I remember walking into my uncle's house and he looked at me and he's like, child stress, you know, and it made me laugh, but it's really stuck to me now that around that age, I was probably, I don't know, like 10. I was already kind of feeling a lot of things that I didn't understand. And because I didn't understand, nobody else outside of my family could really understand me too. Like, why are you just so cranky all the time? I really didn't know. And then it really was just about, okay, I have to try and be good in a Catholic sense too. Like, I mean, there was just so many parameters, so many rules. And I don't know, I just had to manage how to go about that. And then when I went to China, I was in a relationship that was it was volatile. It was like the usual breaking up, getting back together, you know, that kind of thing. So that really put me in a deep emotional downward spiral in a way. And then when I got married and then had kids, postpartum depression, I didn't even know what really depression, like it wasn't a word that I would use. And then I just only learned about it and understood the symptoms. Like, you know, I absolutely loved my child, but there's just so many things at that time. My mind was bad things thinking about, like what I just didn't understand myself at that time. And, you know, the numbers that you shared earlier, those were my lifeline, you know, in this 3D sense of, I had no family, you know, I'm from the Philippines, like I said, but I'm here in Australia. I have no family here, no bestie that I can just kind of, you know, unload to and stuff. It was really hard, very isolating. And it took me a few conversations with people in those lifelines that really put things into perspective, which was amazing. They are just good people. They're good people.
Yeah, they really, really are. You know, I was having a couple of months ago, and he was saying to me, he had contact beyond blue, and and this is not at any way at all discounting our workplace they provide for us. But he said to me, when he was in the worst place of his life and he contacted Beyond Blue, the person on the other line really took time to speak to him. It wasn't like a process, where they just taking the promotion for the next one and what can I do for you now? They literally went through things with him and tried to work with the promotion. So thank you so much for bringing that up, Mizzey. I think that these guys do an astounding job.
Yeah.
Astounding. With regard to the postnatal depression, I'm fortunate that I didn't, with my little one, I didn't go through that, but I'm someone who has depression for most of my life. And it was actually paranoia for me. When I was pregnant, I had my little one, all the time I had this tension like, oh, am I going to know that I'm going through it? How do I get through it? And I spoke to my midwife about it, and I told her that this is who I am and this is what I've gone through. But what was amazing was we had this discussion on the day where this sort of stuff was to do. And I connected with what you said, because I also come from a religious background. And I've also come from, moved here internationally. And you are getting to know a whole new way of life. And you don't have those things, as you say. So having that place was amazing. And I know that you have said to me that part of the topic today is experiencing that feeling of suicide. So I wanted to delve a bit deeper into that.
Yeah. The very first time that I really, so I don't know, I've always had this ideation of death ever since I was a kid. Like, in our culture, like we have drivers and that. So I'm always at the back and I'm always thinking, okay, the driver's driving, I'm at the back of him and there's this truck that's going to hit me. It's always like that. Something to that effect. I'm crossing the street, somebody wouldn't see me. So I don't know why, but it always feels like I just need to get out of here kind of feeling. But the very first time I actually did something about it, I was about 14 or 15. And I remember writing a letter, like a goodbye, like the textbook, write a letter. And then I planned it all out. If they walk in my room, they see my dead body, where do they look first? They're looking at the desk so that they can find the letter, that kind of thing. Like, I was prepared. And around that time, like, it's going to show my age now, but we used to have thermometer with the mercury inside.
Yes. Yeah.
Remember those?
Yes. We've got one in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah, those ones. So I remember at school, they were saying, oh my God, if the thermometer breaks, that mercury there is super poisonous. If you touch it, you're going to die, And one time the thermometer broke and I kept that mercury inside. And it was just a fascinating little thing, but I kept it. And I wanted to use that to poison me, because if you touch it, you die. So obviously if you drink it, you're going to die, or you're going to eat it, you're going to die. So I was prepared. And then I did it and nothing happened. So then I started getting concoctions of different cleaning products in the house with a can of Coke. I don't even drink Coke, but with a can of Coke just to mask everything. Yeah. And I was really ready. I just wanted to go. And then I had even now, if I smell that cleaning product being used somewhere, it brings me back to that moment. Yeah, so wow. Anyway, because it took a long time for me to really down everything, but I did have a little sip. And in that moment, I don't know if it was like an angel or something, but there is a very clear voice that's saying to me, you don't have to do this in the future. You're going to have kids, something like that. And I'm just like, I don't care about kids right now. Like, I just want to go. But it was just a very urgent, don't do this kind of thing. Yeah. So I haven't, so I didn't. And then I just went back out into the world, kept that letter, and just kind of lived my life day to day. And it wasn't really until recently in my deep meditations that I traveled somehow and saw myself now with my 2 sons. And I traveled in that moment, watching myself suffering in that room, and me telling her, "You're gonna have two sons. You know, you no, 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 I know. I don't think I said two sons, but you're just gonna have kids and all that." So I don't know if it was an angel, but at that moment, I was thinking, okay, there's an angel looking out for me, but I don't know if I was the angel. I don't know, but it was just a recent realization, because as soon as I traveled and I was saying those words, it was also a memory at the back of my mind going, I'm sure I've heard those words before, you know? So that was really my first time that I actioned something like that. But I was self-hurting as well, for a while, but something that my parents can't see. And I did that for a while too. And even with my postnatal depression, and even after, my kids at that time were like 2 and 4 years old, I still wanted, I mean, the relationship I had at that time was just so bad. And I was even thinking, I mean, what's the point of me existing? He can just look after these kids. Like, what's the point? And I remember, I don't really share this stuff to any of my friends, but I remember joking about this to one of my friends. And she said, don't be silly. Like, who's going to teach them Filipino stuff? Like, who's going to teach them our culture? And it just stuck with me. Like, yeah, I have something to teach my kids. And also, another factor was when the kids get dropped off, their father doesn't walk into the house. So if I do that, I would be traumatizing my kids, because they'll be the only ones that will see my dead body, basically, is what I was thinking. So I didn't do it. I really, honestly, whenever I say I am here because of my kids, that is in the literal sense. I'm here because of them.
Yeah, I think, Mizzey, can I just say, those are the times when I wish that I was sitting next to my desk, that I could just give you a hug. You literally have moved my emotions. I'm just trying to keep myself centered. But the vulnerability, when we see these things and we put ourselves out there, we take it's not just an expression of something so more symbolic than that. So I just wanted to go and just say thank you. Yeah, I really, really felt. With regard to your children, you are, and I'm not just saying this, you are an amazing mom. I'm friends with you on all of our media portals. I follow you. You love those children. And it's funny how times in desperation they forget the things that are so strong. But I think that proves how strong emotion is. Can we, do you mind if we talk a bit more, because we haven't actually had this yet on the show, the self-hurt. Do you mind talking a bit about that?
Yes. So when I was younger, and I was reading a book and I learned the word masochist, I was thinking, I think I relate to that, because I really love the feel of being in pain. So when I had like a box cutter and I would just be cutting myself, it felt really good.
Yeah.
And so, but then I don't want it to be too obvious, because I don't want people asking questions. So I would really be hiding that. I mean, I guess now I just realized maybe that's why I have tattoos. I mean, tattoos, they make me sleep. They really relax me. The hum of the gun relaxes me so much. And I just love it. So I guess now it's more of a healing journey for me. A lot of my tattoos are healing symbols that I make it a point. That's the only thing that I tattoo in my body, because like we have a lot of water in our body, and our water reacts to whatever frequency you put it in. So all of my tattoos, I make sure that it's a higher vibrational frequency so that it carries me through my life.
Yeah. You're very symbolic. That's what I really love about you. In everything, though, it's symbolic. It's more than I get the self-harm. I've been there too. So I understand, and I know that many people that even might come across this video, I know that they can feel that too. Guys, just again, if you want someone who is stuck in these types, or you're suffering from something internally, please remember to reach out. Also you see it's quite interesting because statistically they say that people with self-harm are probably more likely to try and commit suicide sometime in their life.
Yeah.
So it's a huge thing. So, but life for you growing up was good.
Life. I mean, I'm sorry. Can I just add something which I just remembered just now? Another self-harming thing that I've done at when I was young. The obvious one. My mom and I were. I just remembered it just now. I don't even. Anyway, my mom and I had an argument, and I was so mad that I scratched my whole face down to my neck, and I went to school with that. And I remember the principal calling my mom, like, what happened to her? And my mom was like, she did this to herself, and the principal didn't believe her. And I was just like a shell of a person. I didn't really, the conversation was just going, but yeah, anyway, sorry. That was one obvious thing, I guess, that I did. And and I also, wow, this is all flooding back to me. Another thing that I did was I hit my head a lot. Like, again, that's another not obvious.
Yeah.
And I do
that in absolute frustration. Like, I mean, really, I can still sometimes fall victim to that. And it's kind of like always this self-worth.
Yeah.
But you're right about, I really think that is an expression of what we're trying to let out, something that is so internal that we're trying to make someone else understand. Like feel into this. But you're right about it being something. It's like a type of therapy, and in no way encouraging self-harming, please. But obviously, we're being honest, and we're talking all this sort of stuff too. So Mizzey, you had to look back in your life, and now having hindsight. And I know from hanging out with you, etc., there are those individuals that are highly sensitive. And we are very fortunate now because we're having all of this really amazing research come out about highly sensitive individuals. And the things that we feel, how we pick up on things, being in a crowd, emotion. We are probably more emotionally reactive to things than what you would categorize as normal. No such thing as normal, but a more normal person. Okay. But with hindsight, looking back, do you think that there is anything that kind of played a part in you journeying through these types of things?
At the back of all that, I realized that I was feeling. So my parents are just matched up together by the families, So I always joke that we're just like the requirements of the marriage, really. But also our lineage is Chinese. So, I mean, I guess there are a lot of factors. But one thing that again stood out recently when I was doing my own healing journey, and I had completely forgotten about this moment. But when I was about 8, my youngest brother was born. No, 7, he was born. So around 8, when he started learning how to speak, my grandmother was teaching the youngest brother to call the second brother Ahya, which means big brother, but only calling me by my name. And there's a Chinese word for big sister. And so I asked my grandmother, I said, why? How come he's not calling me Atzi, which is big sister? And she said, oh, that's because only the sons should be born first, and you were born first. So Mark, the second brother, should really be the oldest. I remember in that moment, how can I correct this? How can I go back to the womb and make sure that the alignment is right? I think, and I forgot about this throughout my life, but this is where the healing is coming from now. Like healing that part of me where I thought my existence already is wrong.
Yeah.
And I think that really became like a copy and paste of emotional worthiness issue, I suppose, in those times. And hurting myself in those ways were kind of like a self-soothing thing, because no one out there really supports me because I'm the eldest and I'm a girl and it's wrong, kind of thing, But I didn't wear that in my sleeve. I didn't carry that as a badge. Like I forgot about that. It was just something that I am now just seeing the patterns that's forming.
And you do, the more that you do, the more that you delve in, the more you see. And I want to say generation, a lot of trauma carries from generation, whether that be things from the way that they're brought up. And it doesn't mean that our parents did wrong. It just means that it's all that they knew at the time, right?
Yes, that's right.
And we can only mend now what we see and what we can do better.
Yeah. And I carry this badge of I am the black sheep as a pride thing, because I now understand that black sheep in the family, they're the ones that is twisting or changing the energy in a different way, which the whole family hates or dislikes or just doesn't accept. But that is the way. That is the way to change whatever belief system or habits or whatever, like that cultural thing. So I wear that with pride now.
That's amazing. So you should. What are your thoughts about each person that I have conversations with, and you know this, doing the work that you do, every person has wounds carried in different formats and things. Every individual. What are your thoughts about the challenges that we face and every choice that we make in a certain way? But it's all about life, delving into the deepness of the hurt to become better. Do you think that there is a purpose in that? Like, how do you approach these beliefs? Or what is your goal?
Yeah, so I have a lot of teachers, like Bashar would be one, just teacher, like mainstream ones, but also teachers like that I learn modalities from. But the first thing that I want to say out front, when we're just going to go back to at the beginning where you said, expressing my frustration or anger towards higher power. One thing that I heard from some pastor saying something obscure, like as a video, but it really stuck to me, was it doesn't matter how you express yourself to God or creator or higher power, because he can take it. So go ahead and let it out. And so with this whole journey of me kind of learning these things, oh my God, I just lost the question. What did you?
So that's it. You're obviously going with this now. But the belief, the purpose as to why we choose our ways or how we choose where it leads us. Like for a deeper purpose in that.
Yes. So as a soul, we want to learn things, but we've just forgot the memo we created for ourselves on what lessons we want to learn. But the thing is, also as human beings, sometimes we have this experience and we sit in this mud and it's already caked. So you're stuck there. And our job is to learn how to get out of it and then to keep going. That's why I call myself an energy alchemist and not a healer, is because I don't want people to come to me and go heal me, and I'm sure not everybody is like that, but I'm just saying, as an energy alchemist, I can help you. You feel bad now, I can help you transmute that. But you walk out of our session and I'm giving you tools, because it's not up to me, or anybody else to heal you. It's up to you. And all we're doing is giving you all the ingredients you need to be able to move forward. So I want to highlight that we all take responsibility for our choices, and even our frequency. And I don't know how deep I can go with this, but when we hold, so it's something like this. You're a foxtail box, right? So you know exactly what channels, channel 23 is what, but sometimes people don't realize they have this foxtail box and that they're only watching sports and they don't even like sports, but they keep complaining about the sports channel. So, and then they blame the people creating the sports channel. It's all about their responsibility. So for me, it is about going inward. Okay, now that you've realized this is a channel on the outside, how can we make that choice so that maybe we can all together take Foxtel away? Maybe you want to go Austar. Maybe you just want to go online. But it is about your responsibility, though. It is your choice to be able to wake up and go, oh, hang on a minute, there's something I can do. It's not anybody else's responsibility.
Yes. I'm listening to you, and I'm like, even for me, because still staying on topic by reading a little bit. I myself have suffered many challenges, and the biggest thing for me now that continually, even when I do my journaling in the morning, when I do my mindfulness in the mornings, and even more so now, I'm trying to get deeper into that. But it is always, no matter what I'm facing, before, and I pull myself up, hold on a moment, before you look at the other person, what can I do for myself? What part am I playing? Sometimes it's hard because we want another person to take responsibility for something. And I think that when we are going through hard times, when it comes to human connection, there is always going to be challenges. But how we approach ourselves and the challenges is what seriously defines us. So this has been a huge turning point for me. But it's amazing that those people that I'm speaking to come delivering the same message again and again, just in different ways. Yeah.
The first time I actually heard somebody, so I practice Ho'oponopono as well. So I learned this from Haleakala Hewlin with one of his seminars. And one thing he said was, you have to ask yourself, even if this person was rude to you or whatever, the first thing you have to ask is, what is it in me that created this situation? And at that time, I was in a relationship that was really bad. I'm like, but I'm not the jerk. Like, he's the jerk. Like, what do you mean? What is it in me? But I really struggled with that for a while until I worked on myself. And I'm just like, I'm not going to heal him. I'm not going to change him. It has to be about what I can do for myself, because everybody has free will still. And so for me, it is about raising my vibration, and the people that no longer vibe with that vibration just fall into the sidelines, and I lose friends that way, but at the same time, it's kind of like natural weeding out of relationships.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. I was watching a fictional series the other day, but one of the little things to doubt it, and the gifted brain surgeons or something like that. Anyway, but he said to one of the characters, we lose parts of ourselves and parts of ourselves die all the time. It's not just the physical dying at the end of life, when we've played out our life. We literally die all the time. But I also wanted to share, and I know that you probably doesn't mind me sharing this. One of the people I've learned from trauma, he tells his story very often with her clients. She says that there was a time she was going through very hard times with her husband, and he was drinking a lot of alcohol, and they would have a lot of disagreements. And she said to him, why are you doing this? And his answer to her was, why are you tolerating it? And it was like this, that shifted something for her. And at the same time, through taking in what he was saying, it shifted something for him. And they have, they've got beautiful children, just challenges. But yes, exactly. Like what you're saying, when we go through things and we're very quick to go, well, you are. It also comes back to our tolerations and our growing.
Yeah, 100%. And that goes back to the whole foxtail thing again. What channel do I want to watch? And if I keep watching the same channel, it's madness, because I'm just complaining about the same thing again. So it really is up to me.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and it's funny because one of my favorite quotes that I've been using for some years now is like Einstein said, you can do the same thing in 10 different ways. And if it's giving you the same result and you keep on doing it, that is the definition of life.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I'm now going to down this. But even when things get really, really challenging, I would like to talk to you, and I would like to go into a bit of energy alchemy today. If we can, we should have a bit of time, Mizzey. I don't know. I know that you're scheduling, etc., happening and appointments. Just a bit of energy alchemy. Just tell us a bit for those that don't know, because even I'm still learning. Even when we caught up, it was like, tell me more. What is energy alchemy? And how do you use it? And then I would also just like to delve into, when you are going through challenging times, the types of techniques or tools that you use.
Yeah. So energy alchemy is equivalent to what people understand as healing. So like Reiki, you're just projecting energy into that person. But in my toolbox of all the trainings and certifications that I have done, there are so many. But the top 3 that are my favorite by far is ancestral clearing, where this is something I learned from a man named John Newton. And this is where you really bring in your family and lineages, because especially for my own experience, I could be healing myself, but then the rest of my family who also experienced that still has that energy. Epigenetics has proven that the energy of our ancestors gets passed along. So I don't know if you've ever heard of this study in the University of, I forgot, Pensacola, I think, or something, where they had lab rats where they sprayed the cherry blossom spray and they turned on electrical impulses on the pads of their feet. So of course they would freak out. And the lab rats, of course, they're rats, they are very intelligent. So the next time they did it, they only sprayed the cherry blossom spray without the electrical impulses. And they immediately felt, worried. And so these lab rats had pups, and these pups had pups. So the second generation pups, they brought back in the lab with them. And the scientists sprayed the cherry blossom spray without doing anything else. And these lab rats still freaked out. So epigenetics is that study, that science, where all these energies are being passed down from generation to generation. So ancestral clearing clears all that. Parents, grandparents, cousins, step-in-laws, hidden secret adopted, we're just clearing all the energy. So we're pulling it out from the root, not just mowing the grass. So the second one is Court of Atonement, which I learned from a lady named Amy Jo Ellis. And what she has developed and taught us is that, so the Court of Atonement is not really a court where there is a judge, but atonement, really, if you look at the word, you break it down, it's at one-ment, meaning both souls that you bring into this Court of Atonement with a mediator in the middle is allowing both souls to be on the same page. And the last one is Sacred Activations, which is like Reiki, but it's like karaoke Reiki, where you want specific energies or specific frequencies, and it just downloads to that person. So what is energy alchemy? It really is about, me understanding where you're coming from. I stubbed my toe today. I hate my husband today, or whatever it is. So let's start there, because everything else is important. Sometimes they walk into here and they say, I have one problem, but then they tell me like 5 or 6 things. And so they have this overwhelm, and I feel that in my body. So sometimes I can't string a sentence together because I'm feeling their overwhelm. And so I just try and because I really enjoy that as well, because that is the absolute meaning for me of I understand you. And so I am very open to that. But also I just want to set a disclaimer, because a lot of my clients are like super guilty after that. Like, how are you feeling? Like, how's your energy? It really is about me watching the channel, but after that, I am done with that channel. So I am like just the interpreter. I am just trying to understand, and then I will be interpreting the energies for you, like one speaking English, one speaking Filipino, and then I'm just interpreting it. But then after that, it's done. But the energy healing that I am attuning this person to, I'm also getting that healing. So we're both getting healing, and we're both grounding the energy, and we're both really attuning to this higher vibrational frequency where you walk away. Plus, by the way, I sometimes write notes for the person. So they walk away with some kind of tool, hopefully they come back and see me again. But even if you don't, here's a piece of paper with all the things that we've done today, so that you can go and do this yourself. So it's like, again, going to the gym. I'm your gym teacher, whatever, but then here's a program just in case you don't go back to my gym. So you have no excuse not to do it.
I love that. I got the piece of paper. And I love getting a bit more familiar with it. It's amazing stuff. I also love, I don't know if I can use this. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the expert in this. Okay? But I love the fact that your service is so unique in a way. I think. I haven't really heard very much, and I'm still learning different things too. But the fact of giving a massage while providing alchemy, doing the alchemy side of things, I think it's like a healing for the body and the emotion and the brain. Like,
yes. So I really see that as being one. So when I do the energy alchemy, I can see or sometimes sense or hear that the cells, the atoms of the body. So when I'm a massage therapist as well, so when I massage people, that's the feedback, the biofeedback that I am getting. But when I'm just doing readings or just the energy alchemy thing, that's what they are telling me. So sometimes when I do the energy alchemy process, I can see that energy going through the cells. But that's why I also always say, and the space in between, because I really see that down to that detail. And it's going throughout the body and going outside the body. It's just so cool, because we all, as human beings, we're a human body, but we also have a soul and we also have a spirit. But sometimes they're not in the same place, because and that's the reason why we want to get out of here, all that stuff, because we're not here. It's just too much. So my job really is to help you find that reset, find that breathing space and
Mm.
create a safe space for you. The reason why people don't want to be in their bodies because there's just too much of other people's furniture there. So I see the body as a home, and the furniture, sometimes I see like, you know, metaphorical, but like cigarette butts and like rubbish on the floor. So these are for me what represents people's opinions about them, or I have to think about this person even though my heart is telling me to go this way. So it
Yeah.
really is about bond cleaning the home and
Yeah.
really taking space in your home rather than excuse me, I hope I don't offend anyone in my own home, you know. And so that's why you always want to leave, you know. So to me, that's my goal. First of all, just be in your space, take charge of your body, ground your energy, and then you'll be able to develop and maintain those healthy boundaries now, so that now you can put a doorbell in and go, okay, maybe I can decide whether I want to see you or not today, rather than the door is just in and out and people are just walking in and you have no safe space in your own body, which is really hard.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I think that it's also, very much a coping mechanism by being busy all the time and out socializing, doing everything. You know, and I don't know who said it. But the principle of it was a lot of people don't know how to spend time with themselves because there is so much that comes from being by yourself. There's so much that now is like in your face that you're facing, and we go through all these different things in just being still. But it's also why being still and doing all these different holistic natural medicines, whatever you would like to refer them to, is so important because we lose parts of ourselves, don't we?
Yeah, and I think also I found as well with all the people that I have done this energy alchemy with, I find that the reason why it's hard for them to kind of look after themselves is that guilt also of I just want to sit down, but I can't because I'm just going to hear my mom. Even though they're in their 40s, 50s, 60s, there's still that programming that when they were, why are you sitting down there? You have to be doing something. So they have trained themselves, or the outside world has trained them to be like that. And so now, we can be doom scrolling or whatever. But that is still like another paralysis thing for us too. But it really, so that's why when we clean the house, when we bond clean the house, all of that will be moved and will be transmuted to a better energy to support you rather than to squeeze you and make you have discomfort in your body.
Yeah, absolutely. Missy, just quickly, when you're going through tough times, because we're still human, right? We're still experiencing
Yes.
what sort of things would you both recommend to another person, who might be going throughout their day that they can just sort of apply or do? And I know that you have an array of techniques because you've even given me some. To just kind of center, bring them back. Yeah.
One thing that I'm going to share with everyone that I learned from the Court of Atonement is just a very simple line. First of all, connect with your name. I think a lot of times as well, people are also not connected with their name, but if you're connected with your name, that's great. People might not be connected with their name because they're named after their aunt or their grandma or an actress or something, and they just don't like their name. But let's say you're connected with your name. So all you need to do is just to tap yourself, to ground yourself, and you say, I am, and then your full name as it is in the birth certificate, and only. And then you'd say that 3 times. And even now, even if you just say it quietly, I am and only. I am and only. I am and only. And even now, I don't know how do you feel, but I really feel more clear now.
Yeah, there's
as
there's
well.
something that I felt it in here,
Yeah, yeah,
like a coming together per se.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. Yeah. So that's
Wow.
calling your energy back in, because sometimes we leave it with people. People take it away from us when we're talking to them, and they need your help or something like that. You leave it in different places. So calling that back in, just kind of all these little shards of you, puts you back in, and it just, it just makes it feel very cozy now. I just feel like I'm cocooned right now.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. Thank you so much, Mizzey, for coming on. I think to leave this discussion just quickly, it's funny how a lot of people come out different phases of life, but more so when we're teenagers, that we go through these different transitions and things like self-hurting and, going through the brink of suicide. You having your own voice now, and for anyone who has children, is there something that you can just kind of leave us with? Never mind the things of like communication, being close to your children. I know that you're a very good example of that. But just making sure that we are always picking up.
Yeah. I think it's really important, first and foremost, to have that mindset of, I don't want to be back in that hole. So to not be back in that hole, how can I every day do something? Even, doing something is better than doing nothing. I learned that from a guy named Raymond Grace. So even if it's 5 minutes a day of clearing your energy, or even if it's just doing that took us 2 minutes, So even if you just do something like that, and then, because for me, I am a forever student. So, okay, now I've learned this. What else can I do? Now I've learned that. What else can I do? It really is about this excitement of, I really want to improve, because I'm taking charge of my own healing. And yes, of course, there are times when, I would still be super mad at somebody, and my kids, they will see that. And that is fine, because that is human emotion. But I also, number one, apologize later. I'm so sorry, but this is what happened. This is how I felt. That's why I don't know, but I think this is why my kids are so in tune with me, because I have shown them all emotions. Even when they were young, if I am crying in my room and they come in, they go back out again, get me tissues and help me, just hold me, just cry. Even if they're quite young. Kids shouldn't be doing that, but they are just so in tune, and they're happy to, not really happy to, but they just, that's what they naturally want to do. And I'm not putting like the responsibility on them, but I am just saying, I am showing them these are the human emotions. It's not wrong to be angry. It's not wrong to be frustrated, but this is what we can do after we become angry. So sometimes, even as a mom, I yell at them, oh my God, I've already told you 10 times. And then after that, I apologize. And I just say, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I shouldn't be doing that. And they're like, no, that's all right. It's my fault. You did tell me 10 times. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so cool.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, absolutely, I agree. And I will maintain this even with Ellie. Always being true to who you are and the emotions that we go through. I think, trying to put on, what's the word? Don't get angry, try and be the perfect parent. It doesn't exist. It doesnesn't
No.
exist. Being a good human, coming back to principles, grounding, like you're saying, with communicating, apologizing. We shouldn't have done this. We did do this. 100%.
Yeah. Well, I really don't have the answers, but that's how I am able. I handle my kids. How I communicate with my kids really is to be very open, because in my culture, if you're the parent, you're stoic. You're just the perfect God of the kids, and to me, again, that's breaking another thing of the family, where I just show them, me crying or show them me dancing, and we're just so open.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful, Mizzey. Thank you so much for coming on today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. And I really, really honor your vulnerability. 100%.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll speak to you soon.
All right.
Thank
See
you
ya.
guys for joining. Oh, Mizzey, can you please just go onto the trauma page and just leave your contact details?
Yes, 100%. I will.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Mizzey.
Thank you. See ya.
Take
Nice
care.
ya. Bye.
Bye.